They call me and ask me to play. It's a yeah.
Let's have some blind.
Lobo is one of the nastiest SOBs that the DC universe has ever created, but we need to find out what makes this guy tick. But in order for us to find out who and what Lobo is, we're going to start off at the beginning. Lobo wasn't even out of the womb for a hot second. Already he bit the nurse's finger off. This guy was such an asshole. Right out of the gate, he decided to get some scalpels and chase a nurse around the room until she decided to spend the rest of her life in the loony bin. Once this little asshole decided to get a little bit older, he was already out, guns a-blazing, raising havoc. Only until a few short years later after that, he decided to get more of an iconic look. Let's face it, when you look at Lobo, you can't deny the aesthetic look of this guy alone. Smoking cigars, drinking Guinness, riding motorcycles, being an absolute dickhead to everyone, he just screams metal. But before we continue, if you could do me a big favor, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy my Marvel and DC content, leave a comment down below. I greatly appreciate it.
I'd appreciate it. I really would.
So let's take a quick recap. This guy was born and immediately right out of the womb biting fingers off, already running around chasing people, putting them in insane asylums, shooting guns at only at the age of 7, so seems like an average kid, right? If you thought Lobo was going to be any better when he was a teenager, you were absolutely wrong. But when Lobo decided to get his more iconic look, he decided to get into a rock band. And once he was had enough of them, he decided to kill them all.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
So why would this nice, caring young man with a beautiful, kind soul kill all of his bandmates? Because he's a freaking asshole, that's why. Lobo does what Lobo wants 100% of the time. But let's wait and see until we pass judgment on see how Lobo acts in this future. Let's see here, let's see. How's a doctor permanently plant a radio bug in his head? Right, Lobo has that much of a love for heavy metal, he decided to find a doctor and ask him in the most polite way possible, I'm sure, have a radio bug permanently installed in his head that listens to heavy metal zombies. When Lobo has had enough, Lobo truly has had enough. When he was at the ripe old age of 17, this little chap here decided to commit total genocide by wiping out everyone on the planet Czarnia. So how does somebody that's 17 years old commit total genocide? Well, I'm glad you asked, my Squidward-shaped little friends. He decided to enter a high school science project and release an entire batch of flying killer scorpions.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
And there you have it. Lobo finally did it. Czarnia was meant to be a beautiful, distant utopia that had no crime, no problems, no shenanigans, palaces, and a beautiful, once-written, rich history. Everything that anyone could have ever wanted was found on Czarnia. Now that Lobo was the lone survivor after his own genocide, he is henceforth known as the last Czarnian. I mean, let's face it, that's gonna be my utopia. There's gonna be muscle mommies all over that beach.
Let's go to the top.
What can you say, man? When Lobo is dedicated, Lobo is dedicated. Once he's now the lone survivor and the last Czarnian, he's gonna be on to his next adventure.
His name's Lobo. He's a low-life bounty hunter.
The main man happens to be the best bounty hunter in the known universe.
This is where everyone knows Lobo as the bounty hunter, which is he is always canonically known as being. If you don't know much about Lobo, the minimum that most people do know is that he's a bounty hunter. For pretty much all of Lobo's graphic novel run, you're going to find him always canonically set as a bounty hunter. Now, yes, there are one or two more different variations of Lobo of what he did, but always as a bounty hunter. And let's face it, he liked dolphins too. That's why he needed the money.
Lighten up. The answer to all your problems has arrived. Since we're going to be working together, you can call me Lobo.
There's even depictions of Lobo back in the graphic novels where he became a police cadet. Naturally, his blatant disregard for law and anyone existing, he decided to kill his superiors before bounty hunting. Let me know in the comment section below, do you prefer Lobo depicted as strictly as a villain or an anti-hero? You can always look at the classics, back when you're looking at the Omega Man run, which was back in 1983, and then you have early stuff in the 1990s, which came out to a 4-part miniseries starring Lobo. And then the year one issue back in 1995, a lot of people do like to make the connection of Lobo as the DC's version of Deadpool. He is good with the ladies, he is a giant asshole, and is a mercenary, or bounty hunter if you will. But there are still many things with Lobo that we have not even discussed yet. What makes Lobo so unique? What exactly is he capable of? And what are the sadistic bastard's powers?
Superhuman strength is going to be one of his biggest powers by far.
Pretty good, huh? When you got Lobo on your team, who needs Superman?
That's one of the more important things about Lobo, and yes, obviously he does have a superhuman strength, but many superheroes and even anti-heroes do. That doesn't make anything special, but Lobo can also regenerate. This guy cannot die. Because of how much of a giant prick he is banished from heaven and hell, leaving him alone to walk the galaxies. Which why, in my opinion, he making one of the best battles for Superman is the most entertaining. But there's more to Lobo than meets the eye. One Lobo is not bad enough. Lobo can make multiple forms of himself. All he has to do is create one drop of blood, and there is going to be thousands of Lobos all over the place. This dude drinks, he smokes, he fucks, he can't go to heaven or hell. He killed his entire race with giant flying scorpions. He is a menace to society, and I love it. And yes, he does resemble a lot of Deadpool, but if you have to think about it, Lobo technically was created first. Suck it, Marvel. And now in 2026, we are going to be seeing him for the first time on screen in live action. And of course, who's going to play him? Definitely can say there's a lot of mixed bags about the new Supergirl movie coming out, but especially Lobo being in it. A lot of people have worried of how Jason Momoa is going to be used to portray Lobo in this movie. And let's face it, what people have seen from Supergirl compared to Zack Snyder's work, James Gunn and Zack Snyder have a lot of differences.
Super shit.
It's not a very high bar to clear.
What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
Don't get me wrong, Jason Momoa brought a very different take on the portrayal of Aquaman. Sure, a little more corny than others, but what can I say? And because James Gunn is so much of a plank of wood that I could build a house out of him, I am nervous, yes. You can have an actor who's loved to play a role since he was a small child, and it could actually be ruined. Look what they did to Henry Cavill on The Witcher. Fuck. I am going to try to stay optimistic about this movie, but let's face it, after the super flop of Superman, which was a mid-movie, and then you honestly think Supergirl is going to do any better the first time we're going to see Lobo, I have my concerns. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Even if you didn't enjoy this video, I thank you all so much for watching. And, as always, until we meet again.